Welcome everyone to our Fireside chat. I'm Mitchell Flinn, VP of Success Navigator Program Management here at Oracle. Today we're tackling one of the biggest challenges facing organizations right now: how to keep up and even get ahead in a world where AI is accelerating the pace of change like never before. Innovation is arriving faster and faster, and while that creates incredible opportunities, it can also make release management and team alignment feel more complex than ever. That's why I'm excited to dive into how Oracle Cloud Success Navigator helps organizations turn these complexities into real advantages. So if you're new to Oracle Cloud Success Navigator, it's a free AI-powered platform that helps customers on both the business and IT sides run cloud transformation projects, understand application best practices, and supports continuous innovation. I'm delighted to be joined today by Aileen Schwab, VP of HR Technology here at Oracle, who leads a global team of over 30 HR professionals supporting our 165,000 employees worldwide. Aileen, thanks so much for joining us.
Looking forward to it.
You've actually just recorded a testimonial with our Oracle team. So let's actually take a moment and take a look at that before we jump into our conversation.
I oversee our HCM ecosystem, which supports roughly 165,000 employees in 88 countries. We are an Oracle HCM shop. So from the moment a candidate sees a job on our external web, they become a part of our ecosystem. We moved to the cloud in 2016, and when we did that, we, like all of our customers, take a quarterly upgrade. And that can be anywhere between 50 to 150 innovations each quarter. So it's a steady stream of change. We no more than get one upgrade out the door and stabilized, and we're moving to the next. We do all of the management of those innovations. We test and validate that they're working for our operation. We were managing this via email, spreadsheets, various websites, and at any given point, you might not have the latest and greatest information. What was extremely compelling to us about Oracle Cloud Success Navigator is that it mirrors what we have in HCM. And so it was configured to reflect exactly what is coming out each and every quarter. We're able to dynamically load that into roadmaps, prioritize, figure out what each feature is. Certainly having one hub where we have the latest and greatest information represented from our wide stakeholder community has been a game changer for us. We estimate that Oracle Cloud Success Navigator has made our operation 40% more efficient. We're able to show up to a meeting with a very clear domain of features and functionality that we are evaluating. We're able to document all of the various stakeholders' views on those. If there are questions or concerns, we can track them there. We can assign a priority. We can tag feature functionality so that we're able to track it and extract that data into meaningful reports. One of the things I'm particularly excited about is the ability to invite broader stakeholder communities into executive views so that we can make decisions right there and then. What we're looking forward to is the ability to use AI to help us with dispositioning, prioritization, really moving us up the value curve so that we're getting to decisions far more quickly. Oracle Cloud Success Navigator has been a differentiator for my team of 30 because we face operational complexity everywhere we look, and it has brought so much order to that complexity. One place, very clear dispositioning metrics, very clear sense for our prioritization and roadmap, and we didn't have that prior to now, so it's just created efficiencies that we couldn't imagine.
That was such a wonderful testimonial. I get the pleasure in my role driving customer adoption of Navigator to talk to dozens and dozens of customers. And most of our customers really struggle with the pace of innovation. They're constantly asking, Mitchell, how do we manage the business side and the IT side? And it sounds like you have a great wealth of knowledge and experience in that. We've had Cloud Success Navigator available for our customers since the spring of 2025. What was that critical moment where you really started to learn about Cloud Success Navigator and started to explore the platform and how it could do some of those things for you?
We were managing through spreadsheets, emails, portals, you name it. We had our information all over the place. So when we heard that Cloud Success Navigator was emerging, we wanted to be a pilot within HR. We knew that we had a need for a centralized hub of information. We were excited at the thought of it following the roles and permission structures that we had in HCM so that all of our stakeholders, and they number in, I would say, around 50, would have access, would be able to view and update and track what affects them. And we have global process and data owners across HR. They lead different centers of excellence. And so those folks could get into Cloud Success Navigator and start to review those features, think about the strategic implications, and less about all of the minutia that a person in my role implementing the IT has to consider. And so we got right into the queue. We were excited to be an early adopter, and it's really transformed our approach to release management.
Let's talk a little bit more about change management. So once you learn about Cloud Success Navigator, done a little bit of initial exploration, can you tell us how you handled that first release and handling, getting the business folks and the IT folks willing to actually leverage the platform?
That's a great question. We brought everyone into one meeting and we talked about current state, which was challenging. And together we co-created a future state. We talked about what it looked like to just try this for one release. And we kept it very light touch. And I think everyone saw immediately the efficiencies, the communication gains, the fact that we had everything in one single source. And so it sort of spoke for itself. We didn't end up having to champion another release. Everyone just made the assumption that this was going to be woven into the fabric of our release management plan from then on.
And something I'd love to hear from you in our conversations leading up to today included how your team was managing multiple spreadsheets, PowerPoints. You mentioned the emails, the meeting backlog, right? But also, we've talked some about different levels of information and who's got the right release notes and the most up-to-date information. Talk to me a little bit about how you have looked to transform things, and then also how Cloud Success Navigator's AI capabilities took that even further.
It's a great question. I'll tell you, moving from spreadsheets to, we developed our own internal Apex application using Oracle technology. And then when we migrated to Cloud Success Navigator, it became a facilitation mechanism. And so we were able to review all the feature functionality. We had a feed from the product development organization, just as every other customer will, that has the latest and greatest descriptions, naming nomenclature, any sort of dependencies that we needed to consider. All of that was in one place. So I can't tell you, we estimate it's about a 40% efficiency gain just by having one set of, the one set of requirements, because folks would come with different versions and they'd be referencing websites real time. So all of that is coalesced. The other thing that has really changed our discipline around release management is the ability to reference the backlog. Mm-hmm. We have such a steady stream of features that we forget what we've deferred. And so by having that backlog be front and center, we're able to have the discipline to move through it, every single quarter, and we pull feature functionality out of it. Sometimes we don't have the resources, or we have a global process and data owner who says, I'm not ready for that yet. Mm-hmm. Come back to me in a quarter or two. And it's difficult to track, what did we say we would come back to? And do we owe that compensation executive this feature in this release, or, should we kick it down the road a little bit further? And so Cloud Success Navigator has kept that front and center for us. I would also say that the tagging and categorization has been a game changer. I am accountable to many HR executives across Oracle. They will ask me on the turn of a dime, what feature functionality am I getting this next release? I can extract that data so quickly now, and it used to be quite a fire drill, and I'd have to, get a few analysts on it to get a really nice PowerPoint. Well, none of it's in PowerPoint anymore. We can extract that data real time. We can also, based on those categorizations, tell them not just how many AI features they have live, but we can say you have X number of agentic AI features. You've got this many classic, this many generative. It's really important that they understand what's powering their operation, and they really appreciate that detail.
Yeah, the past, present, future component of the roadmap. I talk to customers all the time as we think about this pace of innovation with AI, that they've said no to one AI feature in a release and no to another feature. And they just have this huge backlog of capabilities that are sitting there waiting for them to take advantage of. And we know that through Cloud Success Navigator's AI Adoption Center, they're able to see a centralized view of those things, really be able to then personalize the experience in Navigator through the production profile, and then really sit down and think about that roadmap as it relates to exactly what you're talking about. What's that person need, that audience specific to them? So can you just tell us a little bit more about how the business side of your HR team and the IT side of the team have leveraged Navigator just to drive that little bit higher level of collaboration and decision making to ultimately culminate in that 40% efficiency gain as part of release management?
Yes, it's all over the board. I would say sometimes the hardest part of IT deployment is just getting started. So I've appreciated the space within Oracle Cloud Success Navigator that provides best practices and frameworks and MVPs. So, when we're experiencing that inertia, we don't have time to deal with that right now, Aileen. We can go out and look at some best practices and frameworks that actually make suggestions about how to get started. And I think that just getting through those stickier points is a huge part of this process. I would also say there are a lot of communication breakdowns when you're moving at the pace of cloud. And so Oracle Cloud Success Navigator has provided this repository where we're not constantly revisiting decisions. We used to do that a fair amount. Now people apprise themselves of the decisions that have been made. They can see very quickly what we're going to speak about in the next meeting because we flag those features, and we can have these very efficient directed conversations and not reopen areas where we've already made a decision, or we can reopen them and then we document that. And so one of the things that I didn't anticipate with Cloud Navigator is that I can have folks roll on to the team and they can apprise themselves of the recent decisions we've made within that module. And it serves as a training mechanism. And also when people move off, we don't lose the institutional knowledge. It's all documented. We don't have to go and ask for them to forward emails or to, unearth a spreadsheet we haven't seen in 3 months.
So can you talk to me a little bit more about the confidence that you actually have now as a result of Cloud Success Navigator?
The quality of the data is so much better because it tracks these conversations as they're happening. And so we've found, yes, speed, optimizing for sure are very important aspects of this, but the quality of the data leads to quality decisions, which drive the enterprise. So while these are still early days, I would say we're revisiting decisions far less, and we're seeing great value coming from each release. And I think that's because we have greater confidence and better representation of the decision making as we go.
Yeah, shared record, the notes are there, the representation is there, absolutely drives that level of confidence in the decisions, not just the work that's been done.
Absolutely.
And so talk to me just a little bit more about some of the AI capabilities in Navigator, and maybe give me an example or two of how you're using those just to drive more efficiency into the process, and how your teams are then having just a better experience themselves as a result of Navigator. And maybe even too, just the dynamic with HCM, it means employees for our customers and for your customers, myself as an Oracle
You're
employee,
my customer.
get
Yes.
the benefits. So just share a little bit more about AI and the benefits you see for us.
So from an internal operational perspective, we can easily search. There's agentic technology that enables us to very quickly type in a feature name and get the full description. I can't tell you how much better that is than a bunch of analysts thumbing through documents or madly scrolling through portals to just get very simple information. I would also say that AI has helped us with our change in communications. So every single quarter at Oracle, we distribute an email to our HR enterprise. We've got about 2,200 people in our HR function, which is quite small when you figure how big and complex Oracle is. But we need them to know how the technology is underpinning every aspect of our operation. So I used to put at least 3 analysts, a few hours over the course of the weeks leading up to a release, summarizing those kind of salient features and functions that folks needed to understand were coming. And it took a long time. I mean, Mitchell, I would say they spent, probably 3-4 hours constructing this email. And then, of course, there's the process of refining it. Now, with a few clicks of a button, AI will summarize those features for us. And then, of course, we'll put our own nuance onto it. But what used to be several hours has become maybe 30 minutes. And it's just been incredible to see.
Walking a customer through how AI can recommend missing features in their roadmap, right? You've only got a couple of the AI benefits features, open enrollments coming up. Let's go ahead and let AI fill in the gaps for you. And then I absolutely love showing just the Gen AI capability of, we all know what you do. You look at your mandatory features and everybody goes and creates the email. And to just say, hey, let's go ahead and let AI build that email for you, right? Put it in a nice table, includes all the links to the relevant release material. And I see the responses from customers. Jaws drop, some colorful language every once in a while, right? In terms of their just level of just shock to think about. And you can tell there's this moment in their mind of they're rolling through all the time savings, right? That are going to be benefited for them. And right now we're just doing some of the foundational things with AI in Cloud Success Navigator. We've got some truly incredible things on our roadmap, which we'll love to share with our customers longer term. But as we wrap up our time here today, are there any other just comments or suggestions that you have for our customers that are listening to this conversation, and any kind of next steps and things that you would maybe want to suggest to them?
Well, I think we've had a number of lessons learned over the last 6 months. Communication is essential in this process. Release management is really only as good as it represents the needs of your customer base and, is executionally aligned. So you've got the IT folks, you've got the true HR business partner folks, and then you've got a deployment team like mine in the middle. It's just been refreshing to have everything in one place. And we are executionally more aligned than we've ever been. And, I hate to say that the software is actually driving that, but it is absolutely eliciting the right behavior from each and every team. It is highlighting for us where there are gaps, where there are conversations that need to be had. We've just never felt so efficient. And I'm really looking forward to the advances that you're speaking of, because I just feel like there's so much opportunity in this space to drive efficiencies and to reduce our costs. And we're seeing it firsthand.
Yeah. When people, process, and technology come together, it's incredible. And we know that that's what Cloud Success Navigator is capable of. And we absolutely appreciate your time and the story of the Oracle HR team and their partnership and collaboration and use of Oracle Cloud Success Navigator. We'd like to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us today, Aileen.
Thank you, Mitchell.
And thank you everyone for joining us for this Fireside Chat. We hope our conversation gives you practical ideas for tackling your release management with Success Navigator and helps you unlock the full value of your Fusion applications. If you're interested in getting started, just reach out to your Oracle team or visit our website to request access. We're here to help you get the most from your cloud journey. Until next time.